Now, I'm not going to say it's 100% nonsense, but in my experience, it's pretty close. Twitch CEO and co-founder resigns to spend more time with his family. Now, a little bit of context here. He has just had his first child, so maybe this is one of those cases where it's possible, but the timing of it is a little bit suspect. The guy resigns, and then a couple of days later, Twitch announces they're firing 400 employees, which comes as an overall Amazon cut of 9,000 jobs. Now, I obviously have an opinion on this because I do use Twitch. I'm a partner on Twitch. I don't really stream all too much. I should probably do it more. But I do like the platform. I've been using the platform either as a streamer or as somebody who watches streams since the very beginning, since Justin TV as well. And I do like the platform. I like Twitch. I don't like what it's become in many ways. I think the biggest problem with it is their content moderation policy is just incredibly inconsistent in how it's applied. People get banned for mistakes. People get banned for things that are just insane. And then other people don't get banned for things that are equally or worse insane. Some people don't get banned for malicious things. And there's obviously a little bit of playing favorites, as well as things have to have a certain level of exposure before anything happens. Now, on top of that, Twitch have made it pretty clear that they're not making money, or at least not making enough money. And 400 jobs being gone from Twitch, I would love to see a breakdown of what these people were doing. Because if you've used Twitch over the years, you know that the website hasn't changed very much. It's technologically, as an actual service, leaps and bounds behind YouTube streaming. Literally, the only reason people don't use YouTube streaming, or at least I'll give you two. The first one is diversification of income. So if you're already on YouTube and you make YouTube videos, also streaming on YouTube means that if something was to happen with your YouTube channel, you would basically be up shit's creek without a paddle because you'd have no platform anymore. And then you'd have to start building something new up to, sustain you while you figured out what was going on. And the other reason, because I think that one's a little bit more of like a meta reason, is that the Twitch experience in terms of chat and discoverability, even though Twitch discoverability has no real algorithm and it's not very good, is better than YouTube. YouTube just kind of hides streams away. Some people who want to stream on YouTube are worried that if they do stream on YouTube, the fact that the video's live is going to make people not click on their real videos when they post them. And these are valid reasons. I think if YouTube solved these problems and the chat experience was better, more like just emulate Twitch, Twitch would basically be fucked at this point because there's obviously some competition popping up as well with things like Kick, and other platforms are going to start getting in on this, and YouTube have been stealing market share year after year and will continue to do so, especially considering as part of not making money, Amazon have been squeezing Twitch to essentially cut losses and to over monetize their audience, which as soon as you start doing that, it's the slow decline, right? They can definitely pull out because they do still have the largest market share of live stream users for gaming content and things like that. But as more and more things come up, as Twitch gets worse, that's going to go downhill repeatedly over and over again. We've already seen big streamers move into Kick. I think I've made my opinion on that website clear in other videos, but if you want to know, I'll clear it up real quick. Kick seems to be a website that essentially exists to funnel people, specifically younger, more impressionable people, to gambling, gambling that is an offshore company using cryptocurrency. And they're doing that because that was banned on Twitch. They've essentially spun up an entire live streaming platform, which actually looks pretty good, functions pretty good, and then paid a bunch of people money made from gambling to come over and bring their audience from Twitch and to funnel them into gambling, because the website doesn't make money any other way. It just doesn't make sense logistically, economically. It makes fuck all sense. If you know anything about the economics, Amazon has Amazon Web Services. They can subsidize their own costs for servers to run Twitch. They already had the infrastructure. They already had a company that had all these employees. They already had like a baseline of a bunch of people using and giving them money. They already have their own network for delivering ads, and then all their own products they can deliver as well in terms of ads. And they can't make money with a 50-50 split with streamers on subscription revenue, which is $5, $2.50, $2.50. Kick has no ads, They have a 95% to the streamer sub split, so they only get 5% of the money. They have no way to subsidize their server costs. And of course, they're paying people millions, tens of millions of dollars to come over and stream on the website. So they're making no money from that. That's not sustainable. So where are they making that money to subsidize this entire startup? It's all the gambling, right? And it's all because it's going to feed back into it, at least in my opinion, allegedly. But whatever the issue is, whatever's going on with Kick, I do like to see more competition in the space because it just works out for consumers far better. If the more competition there is, the less companies can feel like they can do things to you or, you know, give you a worse product for more money or ruin your experience, because then you'll just go over to another experience and then repeat the cycle. It's just how these things go. And anything that's a functional monopoly is just not good. Generally, that's why we have antitrust laws and things like that around the world. But that's a roundabout way of saying 400 employees from Twitch. What have these people been doing over the last few years? Because Twitch it's not changed very much. Like, what have we actually been given on Twitch as features that show us that 400 employees? Because obviously there's a bunch more employees there. So how many are we going to say? They've not specifically given us a number. What have they been doing this whole time? Which I think in general, if you look at how Twitch was 2 years ago and look how Twitch is now, the actual user experience has gotten worse because of the ad system, like mid-roll ads. It's a live stream. Mid-roll ads? Really? It's just garbage. So they probably had some bloat in terms of employees, but obviously it sucks to have 9,000 people across Amazon cut, including 400 from Twitch. The reason they say they cut these employees was due to business sustainability and having to shrink their workforce because they didn't hit goals that they wanted to in terms of revenue and growth. So the CEO of the company stepping down a couple of days before this is announced due to wanting to spend time with his family, it just seems really coincidental, right? It seems like way too much of a coincidence to actually be real. And then Polygon released this. I'm not really a heavy user of Polygon, but we'll read it anyways. The worst thing here is Twitch employees were not told if they were impacted ahead of the announcement. They still don't know and will hear, quote, no later than early next week, according to an email from Clancy reviewed by Polygon. Two workers confirmed this to Polygon. One said Amazon CEO Andy Jassy's update on the layoffs caused confusion among staff. Both employees were granted anonymity as they were not authorized to speak to press. So obviously this is like a really weird element. I obviously don't run a corporation, but to me, the public knowing and you internally knowing that hundreds of you are going to be fired and then 9,000 people across Amazon, you know people are being fired, but you don't know until a week later whether it's you or not. That's just fucking mad. It's the sword of Damocles just hanging over you every single day you're waking up, going to work. Do I have a job? Do I still have a job? That seems like the worst way to handle anything. And it seems like releasing something like this is probably only due to the fact that they're a publicly traded company and they're trying to say like, oh, you know, we've not hit our revenue goals, but don't worry, we're going to cut costs by cutting all these people. And that's placating shareholders at the expense of just basically torturing their employees for over a week of not knowing whether or not they have a job anymore. And then the CEO said, I'm disappointed to share the news this way before we are able to communicate directly to those who will be impacted, but it's important for you to hear directly from me confirming this difficult news. If you're disappointed, why don't you just not do it this way? Like, why don't you just do it in a different way? This is Amazon's second round of layoffs this year, with more than 18,000 people cut from the company in January. That wave of layoffs was largely focused on Amazon stores, which includes its comics business, Comixology. I didn't even know that existed, to be honest. Microsoft also cut 10,000 jobs. Why is this happening? Riot Games, Unity Software. Essentially, everything's down at the moment. Stocks, tech in general is down. Everyone's obviously worried about like the impending, if not already, recession. So this is not super surprising. I just think it's handled really poorly. But I do have to question how Twitch is being operated. If you just have 400 disposable staff, 400's not a small number, mate. If you just have 400 disposable staff there that you can't justify keeping on at the company to sustain the business, or is this yet another one of those cases that corporations do where they fire people who are tenured, who earn money and have additional benefits and things like that, and then just rehire a bunch of people to replace them paying them less money. That's possible because that happens all the time. Either way, this is interesting. It doesn't look good for Twitch in general when you combine all the news of bad thing happens, bad thing happens, bad thing happens. We fire a bunch of people. CEO stands down. From what I've heard, though, he wasn't really all too involved in Twitch anymore. So maybe that's the case. So maybe this is actually a positive thing. They're going to cut the bloat and then start actually making Twitch better. But I think that's cope. I will be interested to see, though, because, again, Twitch existing is good. I don't want everything to be under YouTube. I think that's bad. But it does seem like that's the direction we're headed if Twitch keep doing things that their entire user base completely disagrees with, such as having creators earn less money, making the viewing experience worse, and having terrible content moderation consistency. But there we go. Thanks for watching, and you can check me out on Twitch if you want, link in the video description, and I might just stream later. We've been watching some MILF Manor, which is just fantastic. It's just a really good time. Check out the Patreon, Discord, all that stuff. See you next time. Peace out.